Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today is one of the days where I normally make a live stream, but I am sadly not around because I am elsewhere. So I decided to make a live stream wannabe. So this is recorded just like normal live stream, and I hope you will enjoy this anyway. I'm trying to keep it not too long. Normally I go around an hour or two for a live stream, but as this is just not a live stream, I am trying to make it a little shorter, but still making a video for you. So sorry about that, this is not a live stream, but it is a lookalike. Anyway, let me show you what we have made so far, because we are working on this little lovely cat home, the cat cafe, and there is so many details in here. I can't get everything on the camera, and I even have a little box here with things that is gonna go on the outside of the porch here that I did not glue in yet. Let me do it like this so you can all see me again. Hello. So we have done a lot of things for this little build, and it has been some fun journey, and I have got a lot of great ideas from you guys, and I have enjoyed this really much. But I am going to take this little building here and put it to the side if I have room for it, like that, because we are going to make pots and plants today. Where did I put the guide? I have it here. We made, let's turn that around. We made the pillows and the big seat here last time, and we made that one with our own fabric. So today we are going to start with these furnitures, that is not furnitures, with these plants here. And for that I have found this little piece here that we need to cut out and bend on the middle. So I'm just gonna start here with cutting out a corner. So that I can bend it in the middle. Let me see, I do have one of these bone thingies here. I don't remember the name in English, but I do have one of those. A bone folder, is that the right name? So I am going to take this piece and I am carefully bending it here on the middle as good as I can get it, and then bending it down, and I'm using my bone folder for that. Then I take my tacky glue, and I'm gonna make sure that I have glue all over this little piece of paper here. So I'm just gonna go in this zigzag thingy here with my glue, pop it down, and make sure it sticks really nicely. And I'm gonna do that with these two as well. Making sure that I have a free end piece here so I know where to bend. That way. And I am going to try to fold that on the middle so that the leaves should be matching on both sides. Just a second. So it should be matching up here and there, but we will first know that when we cut it out. So let's see what's happening. Again, glue, making sure I have enough here, and there's nothing at the end, so that's fine. And making sure everything will be glued nicely together here. Perfect, put that away. And the last one, making sure I have the edge here free and at least one end. Put that away. And here we go, and then we fold that on the middle. I think that's almost perfect. And then I'm gonna glue this one inside as well as the first two ones. Opening up, and I have a little white piece here at the end where I don't need any glue. And then I'm just gonna glue the rest and make sure it is nice and glued down. We like that. Perfect. So I need these three pieces right here for the pots. So I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna cut these out. I'm actually thinking I'm gonna switch my scissor here because I have a paper scissor that is kind of a lot better than the other one. Because this one is only used for paper. And I'm just taking my time with this because I want it to be neat when it's done. And then I'm just gonna go this way. And I can throw out these three pieces here into the garbage with that. Then I have 3 circles and then these 3 strips here for the top around the little flower pot. As I see it, I think that's it. So I am just again carefully cutting this out. One piece at the time. And then cutting straight over here. Oops, there we go. Let me see. I should have 3 that has color. 1, 2, 3, and that is garbage. Sorry about that. Oh. Normally I would remove that from a video, but as this is kind of a live stream, then I'm not going to do that. I have a pen here. Sorry, I keep doing that. I think there comes one more, but let's see. So I'm using my pen to roll the paper around, and I think this one is perfect for the sizing. I'm really sorry about that. So that's perfect. So I am going to pop a tiny bit of glue here at the edge, and then I am popping it around my stick and make sure it glues together. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what's happening. And that's the first one. I'm gonna leave it here because I need to put that last piece around the top of it as well. So I'm just gonna fold the other two. I am so sorry about that. Okay, I had to take a tiny break because of that sneezing. So I am going to place a tiny bit of glue here. Not too much. I think I have a little too much here on that little flap. So push the other flap around and then the glue down on that, and let's slide it just a second. There we go. No, that will not work. There we go. I think I got it now. And I need to be aware of the text. There is a tiny little label here with the with a flower text printed on there. It just says flower. I'm not sure I can show you that because it's so tiny and it's upside down. But it says flower right here and on this one as well. So this one has a green and this one has a blue and the last one has a yellow outline around the text. Let's do the last one here. Put that on my pen and then glue it around. And this is a sakura jelly roll I have right here. And this bottom part is fitting perfectly for this little flower pot. So that's nice. Making sure it will stay in place. I think that's good. And then we need this one to go around the top. That's gonna be a tiny bit more tricky. I think I'm gonna start with gluing on one end here and then start, let's see, the top is that way and the back side is right here. So I'm gonna start here on the back side with that and put it around and then pop the glue on the other side or the other end here and make sure that goes all the way around the top of this little pot. Ah, that's neat. I don't know if you can see that, but that's pretty neat. I like that. And then we just hope that will stay. So now I can take this little pot off my pen and do the next one, because we need all three of these. Let's see, that's the top and the back of that is right here. And swing that around and some glue on the other end here and go all the way around the pot, and it's kind of overlapping on the back side, but that's fine. So that's number 2. Yay! Making sure it is stuck, taking that one off, and the last little pot here, finding the back side and the top side, placing this little ribbon or paper strip, and go all the way around to the back. And that one is also ready. Oops. Maybe not all. Oh no! I dropped it. There's a long way down there. Just making sure it is all glued together and nice round. So for the bottom parts, I am gonna cut them out in squares just because that's how I do this. Trying to make this into a square instead of the circle. So that is one of these. And I'm gonna do that with all 3 of them. 2, and the last one. Doing the same with that one. You could cut it out in the circle if you want to, but I think it's easier to glue it to the little pot if it's having a little more paper than just the circle. So I am using the little square here, and then I'm gonna turn it around because we need that little color on the bottom of the flower pot. So I'm taking my tacky glue again, and I'm just gonna put that all the way around and try to center this on my little piece of paper. I think that's perfect, and I'm gonna do that with all of these. Trying to center it on my piece of paper, and then I can cut it out later when I'm sure that everything is nice and hardened, so that it will stay in place. And again, remember to glue on the right end of the little pot. So that's a pot. That was the easy part. Okay, now for the leaves. Let's start with one. That'll be this one. So I am going to cut out this little leaf here. And maybe I should go with my better scissor. And I'm gonna take my time with this. Luckily there isn't much details around the leaves, so that's pretty. Let's see, I did get it pretty neat into the in the fold, so that is fitting pretty good. I like that. And the other side of this one. And I am turning this around to be able to cut it a tiny bit easier. And there's a lot of these small leaves. And they're pretty thick because the paper in itself is a little thick to start with, and then you double it up. So if you have another way of making leaves for plants and stuff like that, then maybe you can do that, but I think this is fine for me. Sorry about that. That was a scam call, so that was great, right in the middle of this. Of course, everyone is wanting to get in contact with me when I am crafting, and of course my nose is acting up crazy, so I have a sneeze attack in the middle of it as well. I think that is very normal. So that's it. But anyway, I am still cutting out these small leaves here because we need them for the first pot. So just take your time and cut these out so they are neat and you like them. I have a little too much green on this side, so I'm just gonna correct it, even though that it means that it gets a little smaller. It's okay. Oh no, not again. Okay, I need some green pieces. I have oh yeah, I had to go and take me a pill for my allergies, so I hope that will stop now. I need to find my wire cutter. Anyway, we are going to use 2 pieces of 2 centimeters 4 of 1.5 and 1 of 1.3 centimeters. So let me see if I can unfold this a little more. There we go. I think there's 2 pieces here. Yeah, there is. Good. So I am taking one of these. And I'm gonna go here to the side because I have my map or mat where I can see the measurements. So that is 2 centimeters. Then, whoops, then 4 pieces of 1.5. 1, stop, 2, now the ambulance is also coming. I'm just not going to get any peace today. 1.3 is that one. I hope everyone is okay. Put that to the side because we don't need that anymore. Okie dokie. So it says it says we need 1 more. That makes no sense. Okay, so let's start here. It says we need to bend the top part 3 millimeters. I need to take my tool here. So around 3 millimeters of the top you need to bend over of all of these. So I'm just estimating, oops, they're around the 3 millimeters. So you get this little L shape. And the last one, there we go. And then I actually need a piece of the wire, another piece. Let's see, that's the one we cut from, and that is again a 2 centimeters piece. They should have said that in the start. There we go, that to the side. So now I'm supposed to take all these pieces here with the L part on top, like this, and then I'm going to take this piece here and pop that around all these pieces. I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna cheat a tiny bit and use one of these round nose pliers. Maybe I should make it a little bigger here. So I made this kind of little tiny bow thing, and now I'm gonna try to put these pins or sticks here through that little loop. I don't know how they think this is easy. One more. And the last one. Oh no, I dropped it. Go on. So I have them through the little loop, and now I want to tighten that one. See if I can do that without dropping everything. That is not easy. I think that works. Okay. And now everyone is in different length because I didn't make sure everything was straight here at the bottom part. Trying to correct that, and then everyone is sitting here in one big mess. I'm gonna spread them out a tiny bit if I can. Turn around. And this one as well. And then the small one is sitting all the way in here. Oh, no, that was not meant to be. You need to go back in. Go on. Come on. There we go. I think that looks pretty okay. And maybe I should have had this a little longer down. They want me to place that into the pot with these to the side so that they can help make sure everything stays in the pot. Let me see, they use a green one, that's yellow, that's a green one. So they place it so that these pieces here is kind of helping it to stand. I need to bend it a tiny bit more, and now I squashed my pieces here. Oh, wrong way. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna take my scissor and cut off the excess here of this little paper piece we glued on the bottom. Carefully all the way around so I don't cut anything that I'm not supposed to cut. Ah, that was perfect. Okay, then I'm supposed to glue this in here. That's gonna be a little difficult. I think I might need my super glue, and that's up here, so I'm just gonna grab that. So I have my super glue gel right here. Let me just open that, and these are still not the same size. I'm just popping a tiny bit here and there. Actually I put a lot, but okay. And then I'm gonna pop that down into my pot and try to keep it so it's standing straight. There we go. I like that. And I have all these small pieces of paper. So these leaves here are gonna go on top of that one, but first we need the felt, this one, and we need to cut small pieces and pop in there. So I am just gonna make a little strip here of that and then cut that into small pieces. I don't know how much I need. Let's stop there right now and try to get a little of that together, and maybe it can go into the glue that we have at the bottom. That is not easy to get down there now. But I don't think you want to put it in there before you glue in the sticks, because then it's getting harder to glue in the sticks. And I was just stuck there. I think we need more of this to make sure everything is covered that we don't want to see. Yeah, I don't have nearly enough here. I'm gonna cut more of this. There we go. See if that is enough. Yeah, I'm just making sure I have it gathered so it's easy to get. I actually think that might be enough. Popping it in there, and I'm kind of stuffing it down, making sure I'm filling it up here. I actually think I'm gonna take a tiny bit of tacky glue and pop here on these extra pieces where I don't want to see the middle wire when it's all done. And this way I can maybe glue some of these brown cutouts out onto that place to make sure it is nice and hidden. I think that works out pretty good. And I also think that we have enough. So there it is, the little plant with the brown felt around it. Making sure it is glued nicely down. And I'm gonna leave that for a tiny bit before I go to putting the leaves on there. Okay, let's see, the next flower is this one. My scissor. So I am going to cut out these leaves here again. They're pretty easy to cut, so it's not a big deal. So I'm just gonna take my time with this. Make sure I don't mix the two kinds of leaves up here, because we don't want to do that. But it's nice with a good scissor right here. Anyway, I hope you all are having a great day. And now it's soon weekend again. That's gonna be nice. And I will be in my summer holiday house together with my husband and my daughter and her husband. And yes, she got married 3 months ago, and that was so nice, and they are so good together, so we are so happy for that. And now I got a son-in-law that is pretty new, but I'm happy for her, or actually for them. He's a nice young man, so that's pretty good. And they look very happy together, and that's what makes a mother happy, so that's nice. We have the leaves now, and now we need more of the wire. Let me see, I have that over here. They want 2.5 centimeters. I'm gonna cut that again here on the side. 1, 2.5, and they want 2 of those. 2.5 again, and then they want me to cut 2 pieces in 2 centimeters. 1 and 2, and they want 2 in 1.7. That's around there. 1 and 1 more. 1.7. There we go. And of course I need 1 more in 2 centimeters to wrap around that one. So I'm gonna cut that and put that to the side. And let's see, we need to make that little top L shape again on all of these pieces. So I'm just gonna take one at a time, making the little L at the top. There we go. And then of course we're gonna do that in the same way. There it is. So I'm again just cheating and making this little thing with my round nose pliers. I have a tiny bit of glue there. Taking one of these and another one and another one. I'm trying to line them up here at the bottom by sticking them down onto my finger, the tip of my finger here. If I can get them to work. Come on, don't do that to me. It is pretty fiddly, so I'm just gonna do my very best here, and then that's it. And the last one, and then I'm just gonna squeeze this one together because I think that's easier than trying to make it more or less smaller in this, what they're called in that circumference. Is that the word? So I'm just gonna take these L shapes and shape them a tiny bit so that they are fitting nicely, and that is gonna go in the pot with the blue, so that's this one. So I'm again cutting off this piece of paper all the way around here, making sure it is looking neat and nice. There we go. Okay, remove these small pieces here. Good. So this one is for the green leaves and this one is for the brown leaves. And then we're gonna do the same again. We're gonna pop this into the pot with some glue, and now again I have it all over, and I didn't even measure if it can be in the pot. I think that will work. Cap that. I might have to just take this one and bend this piece a little down because it is up a long way, and then just pop it in again. There we go, that works. And I'm gonna leave that for a bit because that is a little unstable. Let me take this one and glue on these small leaves. There we go. I'm gonna take, I have this little thing here. I'm not sure what that is called. Let me see if you can see that. There it is. And I'm gonna bring up my leaves on that one. This is kind of a piece of, oh, what do you call that? Silicone. And I'm just gonna use my dotting tool here and go a little forward and back here on, whoops, that didn't want to go, just to give it a little more texture. And I'm just gonna follow the length of the leaf. Maybe I should take the smaller one for the little one here, giving it a tiny bit of texture with that. And then I'm gonna start with gluing on these small pieces of leaves on these sticks. I'm gonna try to move that around a tiny bit without ruining anything here. Maybe turn that one. Okay, so I'm taking the one down here at the bottom, popping some of my tacky glue on there, and I am making sure that the piece that I rounded is on the going down onto that stick where it is going to be glued onto, like that. I think the smaller one over here. Come on. again, taking my tacky glue and popping that on there. And I'm really carefully, because this takes a little time to glue all the way through, so you don't want to touch it too much. Let's take one of the bigger and place that right here. Maybe I should have colored the edge of the paper green. That could have been neat. I think I have too many leaves here. No, that fits. Gluing this one on right here. Let's take this one, if I can. Glue that on right here. I'm starting from the bottom part of these because it's easier to get them on first and then pop on the top pieces here later, so you don't have to struggle too much with gluing on these leaves. And I'm starting with the small ones because the bigger ones are normally on top of the plant, so this is perfect. And the last one here, turn that around and stick it on. Yes, I think that looks great. I am of course going to show you a lot of pictures later, but right now I am just making sure everything is working and not falling apart before I continue. Let's see if this is glued. It is. Perfect. Taking this felt again and cutting a strip out of that. Actually, I think I'm gonna cut one more that is a little bigger, because I was thinking of making a few bigger chunks out of that one just to fill it up a little faster, because the small ones you need to pop a lot of those in there. So maybe I can use the bigger chunks here to fill it up a little more before I put in smaller chunks. I need a little more of these bigger ones. Oh, that one went straight into the bucket, so that's nice. Come on. Stop teasing me. I think this is great. But it is a tiny bit difficult to get them to stay where I want them to stay. So I need a little of glue for the next layer, but that's perfect. There we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the smaller piece here and I'm cutting smaller pieces to make it look a little better. Normally I use coffee grounds for this, that I dried in the oven for an hour or two, I don't remember how long. And then I'm using that and gluing that into my pots for the brown dirt that we have around. But I actually think I kind of like the look of this as well. In the done pot it looks pretty neat, so I'm happy with the result of this one, because I was thinking of taking out my coffee grounds, but this is actually pretty good. Popping it in and making sure that most of it touch my glue, and this way covers the pieces that we have here. Come on there. And in there. we go. I think that's pretty full now. So I'm just gonna leave that one and put this to the side. So the last part is just leaves. Okay. I'm gonna take this one, this little pot, and I'm gonna cut off these corners so that it looks nice and neat. There we go. I actually cut a little too much off here, but I think when it is glued in place you won't see that anyway, so it's okay. Let's do that. And here we need these pieces, and they actually glued them in like that. Okay, let me take my good scissor, and then I am going to cut out these pieces right here. One by one. Again, I'm taking my time. And maybe I should have colored in the edges of them all before I glued them in place, but I don't think we see it that much. Maybe I will do that off camera later, but I think it's okay. I'm looking at the one that we already did, and I really don't see the white piece of paper that much, so I don't think it doesn't really matter. And the problem with coloring in the edges is that you often get some ink or coloring on this on the top surface or bottom surface, and that kind of hides the original pattern, and I don't want to do that because I think the patterns on these leaves are pretty neat. So I'm just gonna leave it. And I'm gonna just cut it one by one here. And I'm happy that they made the background green, so if you don't cut it totally perfect, it doesn't really matter, because you won't see it that much because the background is green. Oh, there's a lot of these. But it also needs to be a full plant, so we do need quite some leaves here. I could have scanned these pieces of leaves and put them in my computer. This way you could use it for bigger plants in the 1 to 12 house or something like that, but I didn't think of that in time, so that's just how it is. But I'm also pretty sure you can find a lot of cool leaf prints on the internet anyway, so you don't need it. And the last two. 1 and oops. The last little bit here. There we go. 2. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna find my pen here again because I want to kind of round it. I think it's easier with this one of middle. So I'm just giving it a tiny squeeze. So I'm holding the end here of the paper, popping this one under and placing my thumb, and then just kind of curling it, giving it this little curled look. And one more. There is a lot of these, especially when you have to do all of them one by one here. I'm just sitting here and looking on the step out to see what to do next. They are gluing them to the inside of the rim of this little pot. There we go. Good, so I am going to take my tacky glue for this. Take a leaf and just pop a tiny bit of glue on there, and then place that on the inside of the pot like this. And we're gonna do that all the way around. Tiny bit of glue on, pop it on the side, the next one, oh, don't. Okay, I could do it the other way around. Pop a little glue on the inside here, and then place a leaf into that glue. That is gonna take some time because we need the glue to harden a tiny bit before we continue. I'm gonna put that down there and just pop these leaves here for the other plant on top of my little silicone pillow, using my dotting tool and giving it a little line here down the middle, just like we did with the other ones. They don't tell you to do this, but I think it is making them look a little more realistic when they're not just straight. But this paper is almost too thick for making leaves. And this one is kind of wonky. So I'm just correcting these pieces here a tiny bit. There we go. And I'm gonna take a small leaf, pop on some glue on the bottom piece here. Again, I'm using my tacky glue because that is hardening pretty neat and pretty quick. Taking one more. Stay. And this one. Yes. Stay. And then this one, because that is not as tall as the other one. Pop that on there, and now this one is falling down. Keep it in place for a few seconds. There we go. I think I'm gonna put that down for a second or two, and then I'm gonna go back to this one. Pop in a tiny bit of glue. Take my little green leaves, turn it around and stuff it into the glue. Keep it there for a few seconds before I go to the next one. Put that in there. One more. And maybe you should have had the smaller ones first, but well, I just pop them in as I go around. And then we just continue around and pop them in between the first. And it's okay if they overlap, doesn't really matter, because it needs to look full, and I'm not sure we have enough for that. But let's wait and see. next one. One more. I actually think it will come out really nice anyway. Here. Almost running out of leaves now. Here. Trying to make sure that they're not kind of sitting on top of each other, but next to each other. And then I have only one left. That one will go right here. There we go. Now I'm just gonna place that carefully on the table and go back to this one. Pop some glue on the next of these sticks. Taking another leaf and placing that on there. Making sure it is staying in place before I go from it. Come on. Stay put. Okay, that's the first one that I have so many problems with. Let me give it a tiny bit more of glue and then try again. See if that's better. It is. So the top one, I think I'm taking the bigger one here. Placing that in there. There we go. And then the last one over here. Popping that on there. Making sure it will stay in place. Come on. I'm not sure it's gonna be staying in place here. I'm just gonna try to correct it a tiny bit here. Stay now. And this one is also kind of falling slowly down. There we go. That's nice. Perfect. Put that away. We don't need that anymore. Oh, there we go. They want me to find some pieces in this one, in the back with the flowering. Let's see what we got. We have these. Oh, they want the red ones, and they are right here. If I can get to them. There they are. Put that down there. And I'm gonna make sure that this is all closed because I don't want that everywhere. It doesn't say anything about putting, yeah, it doesn't say it, but it looks like there is this brown into that little one. So I'm just gonna cut a few smaller pieces here of the rest we have from the other one. I don't know how much we need of this, but now I cut everything. There we go. Gathering that a little together here. There we go. And I'm trying to pop in a tiny bit of glue in the bottom here. and sticking it down. Maybe a tiny bit more glue. And some more of these down there. And then we are going to take these and put some glue here on the stem or the end of that one and pop it into the middle of the little flower. See if I can do that. They kind of need to stand up straight in there, but it's not gonna happen. And they were actually supposed to be kind of sticking up and over, but they are not gonna do that. I think they will look neat anyway. So some glue on that one and put that into next to the first one. Yeah, so that is this little plane. Give me a second. I need to get rid of that extra glue that was on the tip here. There we go. Okay, I am also going to stop right here because I am tired now a tiny bit and I have a lot more things to do today, so I am gonna end it here on this note. So we have this little green flower here. We have the one with the brown flowers on there in the little pot with the blue rim. And then the last one is this with the yellow one. I think they look pretty neat, all of them. Let me just clean up a second here. There we go. And then I am gonna put these a little to the side. Oh, I just squished the sleeve here. There we go. Let me see if I can figure out where they need to go. Oh, they're going in the window, all three of them, into the window frame. Let me see if I can show you. They're right here, all three of them. So I can do that right away. Let's find the house. There it is. So they're standing right here on this little window seal here under the window. Let me find my glue again. And I think I'm gonna take the one with the green leaves and pop that in the middle space here. I actually think they came out pretty neat. So that's gonna sit there. Okay, I'm gonna do it like this. Popping the glue on there. Taking the next one, making sure that this little flower sign is on the inside of the little store. Oh, and you know what? I would never place my plants like this because my cat would definitely eat these plants standing in the window next to their place where they're sitting right here. My cats would eat that straight off the plant. I even had a what you call that, those with the spikes in them. I totally forgot the name of them, but my cat would eat that with the spikes, and I was like poking me every time I moved that little cactus. It's a cactus. Every time I moved that little cactus from one place to the other one, I would get stung and poked in my fingers from that little cactus, and that hurts like really deeply into the fingers. But my cat was eating it like nothing is happening. It's just yum yum yum. I'm eating the cactus. So I know my cat would definitely eat these three flowers right here in the window, but I'm actually thinking it looks pretty neat. Let me see if I can show you a little differently. Here you can see all three plants. That is from the backside, but you can see them. I actually think they came out really, really cute. And I'm gonna stop here for today because I think that is long enough and I have other things to do, and I want this video to be ready for you the right time. So I am going to end for now on this note. Let me just do like this so you really can see the 3 plants that we made today. There is still a lot of things that needs to be done. We need the roof, we need the grass area, we need a lot of plants, and yes, there is more than enough to be done in this little house. I will, as always, take few pictures of these plants and of course how they look right now, and put that on my Facebook if you want to see it closer up. But that will be all for today. I had a lot of fun with this one. I'm sorry that I am not live today, but at least you get the live feeling. So I will see you next week in a normal video with a normal cut. And I enjoyed this a lot. Thank you everyone for watching, and happy crafting.